Just a little more than 9 months ago, the Houston Astros right here at Dodger Stadium would celebrate the biggest moment in franchise history, their first title in their 56-year franchise life, starting as the Colt 45s, and then in 2017, culminating in a world championship, winning Game 7 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Here are your updated standings. Both these two teams are still in first place in 2018, but they're getting a much tougher push in 2018 than they had last year. The Dodgers only lead by a game over Arizona, 2 over Colorado. You saw the Astros 5 ahead of the A's, and now the Mariners 5.5 back. Hi, everybody. Welcome to what should be a fun night of Astros baseball. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. And Blummer, here we are. We've returned to the scene of the greatest moment in franchise history.
Yeah, me and Julie were very lucky to be here last year, to be on the field and watch that celebration, but truly remarkable to be back in a place where this happened. History happened for the Houston Astros, the first World Series championship for any team in Texas, and they brought it back. Charlie Morton finished that game on the mound. He was actually the first guy I saw in the dugout this afternoon as I was hanging out waiting for the guys to come out of the dugout. So this place truly has a lot of memories, a lot of good times for these guys, but it is now the regular season. But it's okay to look back when you've done what they did last year.
We will reflect back on 2017 and the World Series title here against the Dodgers, and tonight Justin Verlander gets the ball for the Houston Astros. He'll be opposed by Alex Wood as the Astros try and get a W against the Dodgers and continue this road trip where they have won 2 out of 3 so far of the first 8 games. TNT Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Arctic. Overbuilt, not overpriced. We'll be back to Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium, and when we return, we will hear from Charlie Morton, reflections on the World Series.
Proving that there is no Sports Illustrated cover jinx.
Do you remember where you were? I sure do. That's me, standing on the mound. 9th inning, World Series, Game 7. It's a place any kid who's ever loved baseball has dreamed of being. I know, because I was that kid once. We've all been that kid. But when you're a kid, you just dream about the moment.
You're looking at a possible MVP.
You don't think about all the hard work it takes to get there, the setbacks, the sacrifices. And you don't think about all the people you need to help you along the way. Coaches, teammates, all working together, fighting for each other. You think about the fans cheering for you, but you don't always think about what it means for them to be a part of the team, and how the dreams they had as kids are just as real to them as yours were, and how they work every day, yet still find the time to come and share their dreams with you, and how sometimes things happen that can bring all of us to our knees. Every player, every fan, every team, and every city have hopes, dreams, fears. Good times and bad times that happen every day of every year, but on the rarest of occasions, magic happens.
The throw to the plate, not in time. Astros win. Astros win.
The hard times came, but they brought us closer, made us stronger. We threw it just a little bit harder.
Swing and a miss, and that is the ball game.
Hit it just a little bit farther.
A game-tying 3-run home run for Jose Altuve.
And it made the celebrations just a little bit sweeter.
Pitch on the way. Ground ball right side into the shift to his left. Altuve has it in short right, throws to first, and the Astros are 2017 World Series champions.
In the end, we're all just ordinary people, but sometimes ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Amazing things. So here we all stood on the mound together, just kids with a dream. Then it finally became real, and we realized that it was all worth it. That every day, every minute of life is worth what we put into it. That no matter who you are, there's a champion inside you. And that every now and then, even the biggest dreams can become real.
Thanks to Charlie Morton, reliving history for the Astros. Charlie becoming the first pitcher in Major League history to win 2 Game 7s in the same postseason. And here we are, Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles to kick off this weekend series. And here is your starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. George Springer, World Series MVP, will bat first, followed by Josh Reddick. Alex Bregman, the shortstop, hits third. Yuli Gurriel back at first base in the cleanup spot. J.D. Davis at third base. Marwin Gonzalez at second off his 2-home run game. Martin Maldonado, Jake Marisnick, and Justin Verlander gets the hit in this game.
Alex Wood, left-handed pitcher going for the Los Angeles Dodgers. In 21 starts this season, he is 7-5. He leads the ball club in innings pitched and games started. 246 batting average against, and since July he has been very good with a 3-0 record, 2.73 ERA.
We're underway for the World Series rematch as George Springer fouls the first pitch away. Astros and Dodgers 9 months and 2 days ago playing Game 7 of the World Series, and afterwards not only did the Astros celebrate their first ever championship, but George Springer was the World Series MVP. Up and in, it's 1-1. It was quite a road for George in the postseason last year after struggling in the ALCS and for the first game of the World Series.
It's a good lesson. Don't panic.
Saw the Astros postseason MLB video or movie they put together. George was seen before Game 2 singing "I Believe I Can Hit." He would end up hitting 5 home runs, including a home run in Games 4, 5, 6, and in Game 7. Foul ball, long run Muncy, and gave it a good effort, but just out of his reach. George started his string of 4 straight World Series games with a home run in Game 4. That home run came against tonight's starter Alex Wood. 2-2 the count.
George battling on our MD Anderson strike zone. You can see the location of some of these pitches. Looks like fastballs up and in, and the off speed down and away.
Now George has a full count. Saw Jose Altuve a moment ago. He's continuing to work his way back. Hopefully see him in the not too distant future. Carlos Correa began his rehab assignment down at the Double-A level. So hopefully Altuve and Correa sometime in the next week or so we'll see them back. 3-2 pitch outside. Alex Wood walks the first batter he faces, George Springer, after getting ahead in the count. Julia, what do you have for us?
Hey, good evening, guys. It was fun to relive that with Charlie Morton, and that's what a lot of these guys did as they entered Dodger Stadium today. The dream season was a reality, and there was a lot of remember wins for these guys all afternoon. However, once it got a little bit closer to game time, it was time to focus on this year and this series alone, and they'd like to carry over a lot of good things that happened in that Seattle series as well. Remember, these are two completely different teams with the ones that played last year. There are a lot of the same guys, but this is a new story they're writing, and hopefully same ending. Who knows who they'll be facing at the end, though, guys.
Ground ball to first. They get Springer on the force out, and then Josh Reddick beats the throw on the return, and George was going head first back to first. Unusual looking play. George was already retired at that point, but Reddick reaches on the fielder's choice.
I think George was going into distraction tactics. Ground ball to Muncy. Instead of stepping on the bag, he throws to second base, therefore forcing out George, but just wanted to create a little havoc and dive back into first as Josh went running by.
So a walk and a fielder's choice, and now to bring up Alex Bregman. Alex continues to roll along, having reached base in 62 out of 64 games. That includes 31 in a row on the road. Bregman takes a called strike. Alex doing something last year in the World Series that had only happened one other time in Major League history. He and Amos Otis with an RBI in their first 5 World Series games. Bregman holds up. It's 1-1. Jim Wolf is the home plate umpire tonight. DJ Rayburn at first, crew chief Sam Holbrook, and Ryan Blakeney at third. Inside, it's 2-1. Alex Wood, 27-year-old lefty, began his career with the Braves. Made his big league debut in 2013 with Brian McCann behind the plate. Second overall pick in the 12 draft. Foul away. Bregman with a count of 2-2. Justin Verlander waiting for his first regular season start in this stadium. Pitch game 2 and game 6 of the World Series here at Dodger Stadium. And on the hands, Bregman pops it up, and it will be caught by the second baseman Chris Taylor for out number 2.
Good pitch by Alex Wood. We know that Alex likes to turn on the baseball. But got blown up on that one.
There's Yuli Gurriel. Fans not chanting Yuli. They are reacting to Yuli having had to sit out the first 5 games of this season after an insensitive gesture during the World Series last year against the Dodgers. Yuli grounds one towards the middle. Shortstop Machado will try and flip to second. Reddick safe. Great hustle by Josh Reddick to beat that toss by Manny Machado.
That was a very slow developing play. Machado playing Yuli to pull, and Yuli trying to push that one back up the middle does, but Machado gave it a pretty good effort to try and get the lead runner in Josh Reddick, but credit Josh Reddick for hustling also. It's all about location. Justin Turner back off the DL playing third base, pushing Manny Machado back to shortstop for Dave Roberts and his LA Dodgers.
Well, here's J.D. Davis. Born and still resides in Elk Grove, California. This has to be a cool moment for him. His first game at Dodger Stadium. And he bats with 2 on and 2 outs. Check swing, and it's a ball, 1-0. JD coming off a 2-for-5 game on Wednesday, the wrap up to that series against the Mariners. Astros enjoyed the off day here in LA last night, while the Dodgers put a hurting on the Milwaukee Brewers 21-5. In the process, they scored the most runs ever in the history of the stadium, home or visiting team. Swing and a miss by JD. It's 1-1. You know, he wishes he could have played in this rematch. Slowly hit towards third, fielded by Turner. Sidearm throw in time to retire J.D. Davis, and the Astros in the first. 2 men left on base. Jack Peterson will lead off in left field, followed by Manny Machado, the Oriole, now turned Dodger, playing his 15th game with LA. Justin Turner bats third and plays third. Yasmani Grandal, the catcher. Cody Bellinger in center. Matt Kemp in right field. Max Muncy at first. Chris Taylor at second, and Alex Wood.
Justin Verlander on the mound for the Houston Astros. First regular season start here against the LA Dodgers. Wasn't a very good throw from Jim Wolf back to him. Try it again. Getting a new baseball. 10-6 on the season. He has 198 career wins, looking to get closer to 200 here in LA. And that whip is very good underneath 1, second only to Chris Sale.
Justin trailing Chris Sale in a couple of categories. Sale currently on the DL for the Red Sox. Mentioned Jim Wolf's throw to Justin went a little bit wide, and he heard it from both dugouts. Probably something about his brother playing in the big league level.
Yeah, I played with his brother here, Randy Wolf, with the Houston Astros.
Jim Wolf, one of the great guys amongst the umpiring crew, as Justin faces Jock Peterson, who fouls one away. Verlander making his 3rd career start at Dodger Stadium, his 1st in the regular season. overall, including last year's World Series. This is his 5th start against LA. The other 2 coming at Comerica Park as a Tiger. Peterson hit a couple of the 7 home runs last night for the Dodgers. There's that fastball upstairs. It has been a key pitch for Justin this year, and Peterson misses. It's 1-2.
First time we're seeing Maldonado catch Justin Verlander also. Be interesting to check out.
Martin working around the rotation for the first time. This is his 3rd start. First start came with Lance McCullers on the mound.
And I would imagine that Maldonado has very good knowledge of these Dodger hitters, having played in that freeway series with the Angels.
High fly ball, deep right field, and that ball's gone. Jock Peterson hitting a home run on a 1-2 pitch from Justin Verlander. And the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead on the Peterson home run, his 5th leadoff home run.
Dodger bats have been going hot here recently. ...21 runs yesterday, 18 hits. 7 home runs in that game yesterday.
7 home runs. Woo. Matching the most ever. Peterson 2 hits last night, both home runs. So now his last 3 hits have all left the yard. 5 leadoff home runs this year and 8 in his career. Here's Manny Machado. He's a guy you don't want to see in the first inning because he has done some damage in the first inning throughout the season. Manny with 8 of his 26 home runs in the first. And it's 1-1. Verlander allowing 2 home runs in game 2 to the Dodgers, and those were the only 2 hits he allowed in that game. Manny popped one up on the infield. Marwin Gonzalez puts it away.
The Shiner Light Blonde spotlight is going to fall on these Los Angeles Dodgers. We talked about it briefly, but they lead the National League in home runs and walks. 2nd most strikeouts in the Major League since the break. So we talk about 3 true outcomes all the time. This is a ball club that relies heavily on the long ball, but usually it ends up being more than a solo home run because they have so many walks and get those guys on base, and then the multiple home runs benefit them. Again, 21 runs last night.
26 home runs now since the All-Star break, with 7 of them being in last night's contest. And since the break, 3 true outcomes, 2nd in all of baseball behind just the Rangers. Here's Justin Turner. Turner hit one of those 7 home runs last night in his return to the lineup. Turner was on the DL with a right groin strain and missed some time earlier this year with a left wrist fracture, so he's only played in 51, now 52 games for LA. Justin has won their head-to-head matchups so far in his career. 0 for 9 against Verlander. As the pitch misses outside, it's 2-1. A lot of fans in LA, due to traffic or due to having to work a little later on a Friday or just due to their casual nature, do not always arrive for the first inning. So far they've missed the first home run of the game. Jock Peterson going to right field. There's a strike from Verlander. 2-2.
Yeah, this is a unique location up on top of this hill, but it definitely funnels coming in and funnels getting out of here. Makes it a little bit tough, but I'm actually pretty impressed this many people are here this early.
They did have a ceremony before the game as Justin Turner swings and misses and strikes out. Verlander picks up his first strikeout.
Catcher number 9,
Back to that home run, honor matches from Supermo. You can see Maldonado setting up in. Not a terrible pitch. Jock Peterson brought the hands in pretty quick and elevated in a hurry. But with that high launch angle, kept it in the air a long time. I thought George might have a shot at this, but just drifting into that fourth row.
With that last strikeout for Verlander, he matches Tom Glavine on the all-time strikeout list, tying Tom Glavine for number 25 all-time. 3 away from Chuck Finley's 2,610 total. He delivers a strike to Yasmani Grandal. All major league catchers, 19 home runs leads the way. Grandal had 2 of them in the game on Wednesday, and Yasmani not happy with Jim Wolf on that call.
Wow. It was a pretty filthy breaking ball. You don't see too many umpires stay with that true 12-6 breaking ball and actually give it to the pitcher. Let's see what MD Anderson has to say about it. Bottom portion of the zone, catches a piece of it.
Swing and a miss. Verlander is now in the top 25 as he passes Tom Glavine in career strikeouts.
By TXU, and we are looking at Marwin Gonzalez, who had a great game on Wednesday, helping the Astros win that series. 2 home runs, 2 solo shots, but both from the right side of the plate. First multi-home run game for him, but that was his first homer from the right side of the plate and second homer this season. He said, I can't even remember the last time I hit a home run from that side of the plate. He was asked if he's been focusing on that specifically. He said, honestly, I've been focusing on everything right now, but he has been working on that side of the plate specifically. So for him to see that power actually surprised himself a little bit, but he did say it was just good to see the offense do what they did in those 2 games without some of their key players. Felt really good about what they were able to do before leaving town, guys.
Yeah, it was a good sign, Julia. 15 hits after George Springer left the game on Tuesday night. And then 15 more hits without Springer, and of course Altuve and Correa on the DL on Wednesday. Springer back in there today, and Marwin a big part of that victory, a big part of that series win. The Astros, after Monday's game, were only ahead by 3 in the West. But were able to win the last 2 games in Seattle as Marwin takes one inside for a ball. It's 2-0.
Yeah, they were leading the Seattle Mariners. Now they're leading the Oakland A's. A little bit of a flip-flop going on between those 2 teams for 2nd and 3rd place in the American League.
Seattle losing last night to Toronto. That moved Oakland into 2nd place in the AL West. Pitch is up and away, and Alex Wood has fallen behind Marwin 3-0.
Command a little bit of an issue early on. 10 balls, 10 strikes for Alex Wood so far in this game.
It's unusual for Wood. He's usually right around the zone. Lowest walks per 9 inning. He's in 4th in the National League at 2.07.
Yeah, that was an interesting game last time he was out there against Atlanta, though. 5 2/3, 4 walks in that game. In his last 3 games, he's gone 2 walks, 3 walks, 4 walks. He also hit a couple of guys, I think, in that game in Atlanta, too.
It was a homecoming for him where he started his career, and also a University of Georgia guy. Marwin into right field where Matt Kemp drifts over and makes the play right in front of the warning track. Marwin hit it pretty well the other way, but he is out number 1 in the 2nd.
Alex Wood, some of the pitches that he's going to go out there with, 3 of them, 44% of the time you're going to see that fastball able to go glove side and arm side. Curveball at 29% and that changeup at 27%. Those secondary pitches are pretty good. The average against the changeup at 220 and the curveball at 238. But if you're pitching from behind, you're probably going to see more fastballs.
Changeup was really good for him in the month of July, limiting the opponents to under 100 on that pitch for the entire month. He'll throw that changeup a little more to right-hand hitters like Martin Maldonado, and that curveball a little more to lefties. Maldonado trying to get his first hit as a member of the Astros. His first ever plate appearance. He had a sacrifice fly as a pinch hitter back at Minute Maid Park. But with the Astros 0 for 7. And overall with the Angels and the Astros combined, he's 0 for his last 30 and has seen that batting average drop 24 points, starting the day at 217. Up and away, it's 2-1. First inning hit by Yuli Gurriel, an infield hit. Also matched the same number of hits Alex Wood allowed starting against the Astros in that World Series Game 4 at Minute Maid Park. He had a no-hitter through 5 2/3 innings. As soon as he faced the lineup for the 3rd time through, George Springer hit a home run, and that was the end of his game. The Dodgers would go on to win Game 4 of that World Series 6-2.
Would you say that Alex Wood works deliberately?
Yes.
If not more?
I like deliberately.
Man.
On the ground foul behind Gary Pettis. The count remains full.
Alex Wood with a pretty unique delivery, kind of out of that set position the entire ball game, but really reaches back with that left arm and then comes out over the top with those pitches.
Up high, ball 4. Maldonado draws a walk. That's 2 walks issued by Wood so far. He's a 1-out base runner.
Houston Methodist is going to bring us our league leaders. Some good numbers on the pitching side. The Astros leading Major League Baseball with that 3.04. The Dodgers right behind them with a 3.32. Both these ball clubs have pretty good bullpens also, but that starting rotation is the key to both these clubs' success.
Overall, these are the top 2 teams in ERA as well as starters ERA. There's Jake Marisnick with a base hit to left field. That'll push Martin Maldonado to second. So the Astros have runners on first and second with 1 out. Justin Verlander got a verbal cue from A.J. Hinch on his way to the plate as to what A.J. wants him to do here.
Yeah, pretty simple right here with 2 runners on. Lay that thing down, but a good job by Jake. That's a mistake. Alex Wood wants that pitch on the outside corner, and Jake is very happy to see that come to the middle inner third so that he can turn on it.
You know, Jake now in his last 14 starts, just back from AAA Fresno, he's over 333 during this stretch.
You have no idea. It is so big to be able to get those hits and be able to get over 200. He's sitting at 205 after that hit.
Dodgers really crashing hard, and Verlander swings at the first pitch and fouls it away.
Nice. Gutsy.
Justin had a hit in Arizona. He was 1 for 2. in his start against the Diamondbacks.
Going with the Butcher Boy.
Show bunt, pull it back, and swing away. He had Max Muncy about 40 feet away from him when he took that swing.
Well, Maldonado doesn't run very well at second base, so I'm sure they're crashing and creating a wheel situation because Manny Machado is breaking in and over towards third, hopefully to get that lead runner. StatCast AI powered by AWS gives you an idea where they're playing, but where Manny Machado is he'll come in and creep over and then move to the left.
Now they're a little further back with 2 strikes. Verlander showing bunt on the first 2 pitches and swinging. Now he's around to bunt, and he'll strike out. Well, Verlander unable to get the bunt down. Only took 1 attempt at it after a couple of swings. He's out number 2.
That's the hard part about American League teams going into these National League ballparks. Good pitch by Alex Wood, creating a little bit of movement on that pitch makes it tougher to bunt. But I like the idea with them crashing in, the entire middle part of the diamond opened up for Justin Verlander. So if he was able to put that ball in play, just a chopper up the middle might have found its way through. So not wonderful odds, but you got to test them.
Never seen a pickoff attempt where the starter tried to outrace the runner to the bag, but that's what Alex Wood had in mind for a moment.
It's a gutsy move when the guy on first base is one of the faster guys in all of baseball.
I mean, even if Jake gets a 15-foot lead, which would be huge, or 20, the guy on the mound's not going to beat him.
It'd be fun to watch.
Here's George Springer. I'm not sure if I've seen this before.
Not sure who he's trying to catch napping. I mean, that was Alex Wood took 6 steps. Jake took 2.
It's a little bit of a warm night. I'm not sure if you want your starter running extra sprints out there.
Yep. Maybe if he had that invisible cloak on, he could have gotten closer.
He does take his time on the mound, and George steps out. George walked his first time up. A couple of hits and a couple of walks so far tonight for the Astros. They have 1 more hit than they had against Wood in his World Series start, and now he calls Yasmani Grandal out to have a word with him.
Game 4 for George Springer. Alex Wood on the mound. Got a slider down. He launched it on a line up off the billboards above the Crawford boxes. Some of that experience hopefully coming back to pay off here in the regular season. But another phenomenal moment in that World Series for the Houston Astros, namely George Springer.
George 2 for 7 in his career with that home run against Wood, which started out his string of 4 consecutive World Series games with a home run. Wood ahead of the count 1-2.
Swung like he was trying to do it again. I'm actually okay seeing George unleash like that, the swing and miss, but it also tells me that that left shoulder's feeling pretty good because that's that lead shoulder that he released with right there and took a pretty good hack.
AJ said before the game he was available Wednesday, just wanted to give him the extra day with a day off Thursday. Make sure he felt 100%. You knew George didn't want to miss any games in this series. There's a line drive into center field for a base hit. Maldonado scores easily, and Jake Marisnick's going to score as well as that ball is kicked around out there by Bellinger. Springer gives the Astros a 2-1 lead.
Springer and Bellinger. That ball was pummeled. George did such a good job. The previous pitch was a changeup that he may have overswung, pulled off a little bit. I think he got the same pitch right here and stays on it. Man, 85, and that ball was backed up and barreled. And from our vantage point, this is what we saw too. It was kind of knuckling and then breaking. As soon as Bellinger went down, watch his head come up. Didn't really see that ball secured in the glove and then lost sight of it. And Jock Peterson had to come over and pick him up.
That will be a base hit and an error. The error allows Springer to advance to second and also scores Jake Marisnik. The Astros take a 2-1 lead. Love that center field view where you could see that ball hit as hard as it was, and it actually started to knuckle before it left the infield.
It was a good one, wasn't it?
Here's Reddick up there with a count of 1-1.
It's a good feeling as a hitter, too, because you get it off the barrel and you can almost feel the handle and the barrel kind of bend a little bit, and it's almost as if it buggy whips it and just launches it into center field. There's 107.5 off the bat of George Springer.
Up and in, it's 2-1.
It's also good to see in the last couple of games some mistakes being made by the opposing team and the Astros taking advantage. They did that so many times last year.
Outside, 3-1. Here's that Springer hit again from center field. Watch this baseball.
Yeah, so when Todd or I or any other color analyst or anybody that watches baseball says squared up, that is exactly what they mean.
The ball was moving all around, and Bellinger took his eye off it, and the 3-1 pitch is inside. And Alex Wood having trouble with his command, as Blummer mentioned, has had that issue his last 3 starts. Now he's walked 3, and we're still not out of the second inning.
Well, and he walked the left-handed hitter. Now you got Alex Bregman coming up. And Dodger Stadium has always played very firm, very fast. And as hard as that ball was hit on this outfield grass, you could see it take off, and that's why Bellinger had to lay out. But this is a great situation for the Astros with Bregman up and 2 on.
We don't have to tell you how much this guy loves the moment, and you know he was fired up coming into Dodger Stadium tonight. Last time he was here celebrating with his teammates. Now he's got a chance to add to a 2-1 lead with 2 on and 2 out. A couple of walks in the inning, and the Astros putting some pitches onto Alex Wood's total here early. Wood's normally a guy that will not throw many more than 100 pitches. He's been over 100 on the season just one time, and he's up to 42 tonight. And that fastball command has eluded him at times. It's 1-1.
Alex putting up great numbers as far as extra base hits are concerned. You can see only 5 going the other way, 15 of them up the middle. But to that pull side, that is what Alex is trying to do. He's trying to elevate to that pull side. But it's also that mentality of swinging hard to do damage, which allows him to lay off some tough pitches out of the zone.
This is the inside corner, 2-1.
And StatCast is going to help us out and give you an idea where the last 100 baseballs put in play by Alex have gone. Hence the reason they have that shift with the second baseman Chris Taylor up the middle, and Justin Turner and Manny Machado kind of pinching over that 4.5 or 5.5 hole.
2-1 pitch is fouled away. It's 2-2. Alex has a new hairstyle. We may get a chance to see that at some point during the course of the game.
You know, I appreciate that.
A little gold on top.
Yep.
Bregman taking advantage of some time off here in LA to go with a new look.
Yeah, you give the baseball players some time off on a day off, get a little creativity, get a little gutsy.
Top of his head now mirrors the color of the World Series trophy.
Not a bad thing.
Springer on second, Reddick on first. Astros leading 2-1. There's a ball into left field coming on Peterson, and he'll make the play. Bregman hit it hard, but the left fielder for the Dodgers makes the play for the final out of the inning. 2 runs scored, 2 left on. The Astros lead it 2-1.
Chevy Stroll poll. Remember, we're on Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW. You can vote there. Which Dodger Stadium moment was the most important in the Astros World Series win? Was it Marwin and the homer that he hit in Game 2? Springer's Game 2 homer, Springer's Game 7 home run, or Charlie Morton coming in on relief in Game 7, getting that final out? Vote. We'll tell you which one wins later in the broadcast.
That is a great poll. Our Stroll poll tonight. Biggest moment here at Dodger Stadium. So obviously some great moments that happened at Minute Maid Park during that World Series as well, including the incredible Game 5 13-12 finish. But here, all 4 of those moments, such a big part of the Astros winning their first ever title. As Cody Bellinger leads off facing Justin Verlander. JB working with a lead for the first time, and Bellinger fouls one away. Verlander ahead 1-2. Last year, 17 times Cody Bellinger struck out. That set a new Major League record for the most Ks in a World Series.
28 at-bats, 17 strikeouts.
Lance got him every time he faced him. JV got him every time he faced him. In terms of strikeouts. Bellinger coming off a game last night where he hit a grand slam. This one in on his hands, and he just grounds one foul on the first base side. My lean, and I don't want to influence voters, but my lean on the most important moment might have been all the way back in Game 2.
Oh, I said it in the pregame talking with Stan and Ash back in the studio. Stan had a feeling it was a couple of pitching changes, I believe, that where Dave Roberts took out the starter a little bit early and got to the bullpen. But mine was Game 2. I think we both know who that is.
Yep. Marwin Gonzalez with a huge moment. As Bellinger now 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts against Verlander. Justin has 3 consecutive strikeouts in this game. Yeah, so it was Game 2, and the Dodgers against the Cubs, their bullpen was spotless. They did not allow 1 run in that entire NLCS, and now all of a sudden you come into the World Series, and Game 2 they go to Morrow in the 8th, and then Jansen in the 8th and the 9th, and it didn't work out.
And like you said, Jansen in the back end of that bullpen was shut down, and you could feel it in the stadium. I was out there in right field. You were here. We were just kind of like, oh boy, this is it. How are they going to be able to fight through that? And I believe it was a 2-strike count also against Marwin Gonzalez.
0-2.
But as that ball got about halfway out there, and part of the stadium was like, are you kidding me? The other part was going, is that going to get out? And all of a sudden it went out, and this place went dead silent. And that was an amazing feeling, I'm sure, for Marwin. But that dugout exploded with excitement, gave him new life.
And as we know by now, history would change on the Dodgers because their bullpen went from scoreless in the NLCS to they got hit around a little bit in the World Series, beginning with that home run by Marwin. It all started in the 8th inning too, when Correa singled homer run, with Jansen going for a 2-inning save as Verlander just missed on the 1-2 pitch, or on the 0-2 pitch. It's now 1-2. Verlander 25th on the all-time list in strikeouts. He needs 1 more to catch Chuck Finley for number 24. He's already passed Tom Glavine tonight. And a called 3rd strike. 2,610 strikeouts for Verlander, tied for 24th on the all-time list.
That's a tough pitch to try and attack. Looked like a little bit of a slider that backed up at the top portion of the zone.
Verlander has gone from 42nd to a tie for 24th all this season. He's got a ways to go for his next guy to catch. We won't be talking for a few starts about that list because David Cone has another 58 ahead of where Verlander is now.
Here's that strikeout. As a hitter on our matches from Supermo, you see the ball up and you're waiting for the breakdown. It just doesn't come down enough for you to pull the trigger and try and attack it. But some of these zones that we see from the umpires, they do give the benefit of the doubt to the pitcher up.
It'll be an interesting matchup tonight with Verlander, who pounds the zone, against the team in the Dodgers. They're the most patient team in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Highest take percentage, lowest chase percentage.
But that's the interesting thing. If they take early, it allows Verlander a chance to get ahead early. But the chase is what you worry about because they're not going out expanding the zone to try and get pitches.
Drops in that breaking ball and a beauty. It's 1-2 on Muncy. Max Muncy, a part of the home run derby, and you see that he sees more pitches per plate appearance than anybody in the game. He also has the highest home run. That's the team number. He has the highest home run per at-bat ratio in all of baseball. And this time he goes down swinging as Muncy strikes out. Verlander strikes out Bellinger, Kemp, and Muncy, striking out the Dodger side in the second.
"15 home runs in the World Series is a World Series record set by the Astros. That was a big one, and then George just going absolutely berserk. Game 2 had a lot of ups and downs, some big home runs. Altuve getting in on the action. Just really can't say enough. That ball was absolutely destroyed. You could have cut that one in half and turned it into 2 home runs.
Here's Yuli Gurriel. He had one of the biggest home runs in that World Series in Game 5 with the Dodgers staking Clayton Kershaw to a 4-0 lead. Astros would come all the way back to tie it with a 3-run home run by Yuli Gurriel. And of all the major league teams that have played in a World Series, the Astros hitting the most home runs, eclipsing the Giants mark of 2002. Giants had a pretty good home run hitter that year.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yuli down in the count 1-2. Yuli with an infield hit his first time up. Upstairs 2-2. Astros with 3 hits. They've also been walked 3 times. Into the Dodgers dugout, and kind of scatters some LA Dodgers down there.
I think that was a new guy. Dozier on that front rail.
Dozier and Kike Hernandez were both there. Dozier a couple of home runs already as a Dodger. 2 games. Coming over from the Twins at the trade deadline. They have revamped the middle of their infield with Dozier at second and Manny Machado at short. Chris Taylor, who's played a lot of games for them this year, getting a start tonight, but it may be tougher to find him playing time with these latest additions. Dodgers leading the National League in home runs, and they add a guy And Manny Machado, who has 26 now.
Well, Dozier, his second half numbers are pretty darn good, but he's a second baseman that also can pile up some home runs.
There's a ball into left field and just fouled down the left field line. Yuli getting in front of that one, and the count stays 3-2. Since the Astros last played Wednesday afternoon, the Dodgers have played 2 games, one of them a 10-inning game on Wednesday against the Brewers that they walked off on a Yasmani Grandal 2-run home run. And then last night, the 21-5 game. Ball into left field, pretty well hit by Yuli. Going back is Peterson. He'll have room and make the play for out number 1. Alex Wood sits at 55 pitches right now. Just 1 out into the 3rd. Here's J.D. Davis. J.D. grounded out to 3rd his first time up. J.D. getting a chance to play a little bit on a more regular basis here. J.D. started 2 of the 3 games in Seattle, getting the first start of this series. Also played the final game against the Rangers. Down and in, it's 1-1. Astros and Dodgers kicking off the 3-game weekend rematch of the 2017 World Series. Wood will be the only left-hander they face in this rotation. Clayton Kershaw pitching the night before, so A.J. Hinch and his crew missing Kershaw this time around. Kenta Maeda on Saturday and Walker Buehler on Sunday. Matched up against Lance McCullers Jr. and Garrett Cole respectively. Here's Kershaw, stake to a big lead in last night's game. And also had a big lead against the Astros a couple of times in Game 5, a 4-0 lead and a 7-4 lead. In last year's World Series, 2-2 the count. 3-2. Wood has had a lot of full counts in this game.
Another 3-2 count from Alex Wood. His changeup is interesting, just watching some of these pitches. He almost yanks it. Doesn't have that traditional down and away break to it.
On the ground, past the diving Manny Machado in the left field. J.D. Davis with a base hit. And the Astros have a runner on with 1 out in the 3rd.
Kind of interesting if a bat like J.D. Davis could get going a little bit while Carlos Correa's on the shelf. Just because we've seen him do some big things in spring training games. There's plenty of pop in that bat, but it would just be a nice addition to this lineup for A.J. Hinch while Carlos works his way back.
Here's Marwin Gonzalez. You heard from Julia in his last at bat, saying that he's working on everything right now, but it was good to see him hit a couple of home runs out as a right-hand hitter on Wednesday's game. Didn't like that first call by Jim Wolf on a pitch on the inside corner. It's 0-1. Marwin with 8 home runs on the year, 2 of them now as a right-hand hitter. He flied out to relatively deep right field his first time up. Marwin takes a strike. It's 0-2. With the injuries to Correa and Altuve, Marwin's seeing a lot of time on the infield lately. Into center field, Bellinger is there. Puts it away for out number 2. Join the Astros next weekend as we turn back the clock for Legends Weekend, presented by Houston Methodist. Giveaways include a Springer replica rainbow jersey, a Carlos Beltran 2004 playoff bobblehead, and a pregame Legends home run derby. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/legends. 2 outs, J.D. Davis on first, and Martin Maldonado will be the hitter. Maldonado walked and scored the Astros' first run on the George Springer RBI base hit. Maldonado fouls one away. Maldonado spending the last couple of years just down the road in Anaheim, coming over to the Astros prior to the trade deadline. And he takes a called strike.
This inside corner is opening up a little bit for Alex Wood. First pitch to Marwin. Just a little bit in off the plate. He felt that pitch to Maldonado.
Beautiful night here in Southern California. Dodger Stadium filling up on a Friday. The crowds expected through the weekend for this World Series rematch. Never before have two teams matched up in a World Series rematch where they were both in first place at the time. The only other time you could kind of make a case for that was after the Royals played the Mets and won the World Series. They then played each other on opening day, so technically everybody's in first place on opening day, but into the season it's never happened before where two teams have played the World Series and met the next year with both teams in first place. Wild pitch allows J.D. Davis to move into scoring position.
Some backspin on that in the dirt and off Yasmani Grandal. Looked like it was just going to be to his left, but it spun back. Plenty of distance to get JD into scoring position.
At this rate for Alex Wood with his pitch count, a guy who doesn't throw over 100 pitches very often, he may have trouble getting through 5 tonight. It has been a battle from the start. He has walked 3, a lot of deep counts. Swing and a miss. Maldonado's going to make the throw from Grandal necessary. And Grandal puts it on the money for the final out of the inning.
by your local Ford dealers. Justin Verlander on the mound now. Justin Verlander was the man on the mound in 2 World Series starts against these Dodgers here at Chavez Ravine. Held the opponent to a 128 batting average. On base percentage not much higher. And the amazing number is the whip. Walks and hits per inning pitch at .58. He had 14 strikeouts in those 2 starts. A couple of home runs bit him a little bit. But man, he was dominant when he was able to keep that ball in the ballpark and blow it past some of these Dodger hitters.
At 12 innings of work, only 5 hits and 2 walks allowed in those 2 starts. Unfortunately, didn't have much run support in either one of those. I mentioned the home run. Jock Peterson, who got him to start the game today, got him in game 2 of that World Series. Also, Corey Seager got one against him. As Verlander will face the number 8 hitter, Chris Taylor, then the pitcher Alex Wood, and then back to Peterson. Taylor has played mostly shortstop this year, 69 starts at shortstop for the Dodgers, also 32 in center field. Tonight's his 3rd game at second base. Logan Forsythe involved in that trade with Minnesota, where Brian Dozier has come over as the second baseman from the Twins. Found out of play. It's 1-2. Verlander has struck out 5 in a row, including striking out the side in the 2nd inning. And he did so after the Astros gave him a 2-1 lead.
It was a good, interesting 3 innings. I love the fact that after giving up that home run, the Houston Astros in the top of the 2nd answered back with 2 runs. But it's what the pitcher does after those 2 runs are gotten back, so to speak. Wow.
I think Jim Wolf was set up on the inside and not the
Gosh, you ain't lying. It comes in there noisy at 95 miles an hour. It's a good thing nobody was behind it to wear it. But just in the sense that you had a pitcher like Justin Verlander go out there and absolutely dominate the next inning after his team picked him up and got him 2 runs. It's a unique thing to be able to go out and do. It's called a shutdown inning, and Justin did a great job of it.
I guess Maldonado and Verlander worked out the signs, and here's a ball into left field coming on. Reddick still coming on, and it'll drop in front of him for a base hit. Chris Taylor didn't hit the ball very hard, but it found some open grass in left field.
As you enjoy a cold one, look forward to the Miller Lite Hold True moment later in tonight's game. That was an interesting moment for Justin Verlander, having never pitched out of the bullpen, but he came rushing out of that bullpen in Game 7 to celebrate. All hands on deck in those Game 7s.
Hey, he and Dallas Keuchel are both out there. Set a little foreign turf for them as Alex Wood's around the bunt and bunts one up in the air, and it's foul. Julia?
More on all hands on deck. Brent Strom, pitching coach, always hands AJ a list. It's a piece of paper, and it's basically the availability of all guys in the bullpen. Well, for Game 7 of the World Series, it was literally all hands on deck. So he wrote every single pitcher's name that was on the roster. And, of course, that will also tell you when was the last time they pitched, how many pitches they've thrown. And then at the end, there's a box, and you will write yes if they're available, no if they're not. There were yeses all the way down. Never seen it before, but that's a picture that Stromy has saved on his phone just because it's something he's never had to do before. It was just how special of a moment in a Game 7 can be, and how unique that is for the pitching coach and all of those pitchers.
It was a great moment for so many different reasons, and with Verlander and Keuchel down there, A.J. Hinch didn't have to go to either one of those 2. He did go to Verlander in that Game 4 of the Boston series in the ALDS at Fenway Park. But I think A.J. and Brian McCann and the rest of the team realized early on, after Charlie Morton came in out of the bullpen, that they weren't going to need any more pitchers.
How about Brent Strom in all the stress of a Game 7, just having some fun, writing every name he had on the lineup card and handed it to A.J. Go, yeah, here you go, take your pick.
Here's the roster. 0-2 pitches bunted, foul. Wood slams his bat to the ground in frustration as he's unable to get the bunt down. And that's a strikeout number 6 for Verlander. He is now all by himself in 24th place on the strikeout list. And
bunting is not easy. I know that Alex Wood is upset, but even though he's in the National League and has plenty of sacrifice bunts, it's not easy to stick your nose out there against a guy that's throwing 95+ miles an hour and has a hook whenever he wants, a slider that just absolutely would just leave you knee buckled. But it's just not that easy.
Now Verlander will face Jock Peterson, who hit a home run his first time up. Peterson hit a towering fly ball to right field that got out by about 5 rows. One of the highest launch angles we've seen in a home run this year.
Yeah, 45 degrees off the bat of Jock Peterson, just got up there forever.
Peterson in his career against JV with those 2 home runs and 5 at bats. They're coming here in Game 2 of the World Series. One 0 pitch misses to Peterson. It's 2-0.
Well, the first 2 pitches away to Jock in first AB, they were really trying to bust him in with that fastball. He just happened to clip one and get that solo home run. So now the adjustment is going to the outside corner.
Up and down the lineup, they have guys that can put the ball out of the yard. Peterson now with 17 home runs, all against right-hand pitchers this year. Big swing, no contact at 96. It's 2-1.
I believe it was Jock Peterson that went Oppo Taco against Justin Verlander here in one of those starts. But how about the fact that, watch when Jock digs in, his left foot is in that front corner of the batter's box, as close as you can be to home plate. Right on that front line that is on the inside corner of the plate.
There were rumors last year that Verlander was a target for the LA Dodgers at one point before the trade deadline. Dodgers ended up getting Yu Darvish from the Texas Rangers. Astros in the final seconds of the secondary trade deadline, the one that players have to pass through waivers, able to get Verlander, and Astros got the World Series rings.
I like the way that worked out.
Kate Upton is usually in attendance whenever the Astros or Justin had a chance to play here in LA, whether it was the World Series Game 2 or Game 6, or tonight his first regular season start against the Dodgers. First time through the lineup, Verlander with 6 strikeouts. He's also allowed a home run and a single. The only out not recorded with a strikeout was a pop-up off the bat of Manny Machado. I mentioned Maldonado catching Verlander for the first time. Just to go through the signs and get a little meeting at the mound.
That was part of the appeal of Martin Maldonado, was his ability to work with some of the pitchers. Got good reports back from Anaheim.
Into left center field, Jake Marisnick makes the play for out number 2. Good to see Jake patrolling the outfield again. He covers as much ground as any Astro has in a number of years.
No, he is a luxury, even though the bat is just starting to come around. But Jake has value in that defensive position. He can pretty much run down everything. Alleviates a lot of pressure on those guys playing on the corners in right field like George and Reddick out there in left. But he's also an energy guy. Does an unbelievable job, and maybe we discounted it a little bit, but he brings an unbelievable energy to that clubhouse. These guys really like having him around.
And while the Astros do have a lot of ground ball pitchers in Lance McCullers Jr. and Dallas Keuchel and Charlie Morton, Verlander's a guy that gets a lot of fly ball outs. So he especially appreciates the outfield defense right now of Marisnick in center, George Springer in right, and Josh Reddick in left. That's as good as it gets for the Astros. A little cue shot, one hopper back to Verlander, who retires Machado for the final out of the third. 2-1 Astros.
Have a 2-1 lead over those Dodgers, and Jake Marisnick's going to lead things off for us here. And if you remember, he was recalled from AAA on Wednesday, and he promptly hit a 2-run home run in his first at-bat back. Had a nice day, 2 for 4. And that wasn't just good for Jake's confidence. That was good for the entire club. Even Dallas Keuchel talked about it after the game, said of his teammate, I don't care if he's hitting 100. He comes in with such high intensity. He's so valuable, which is what we needed at the time. This is who Jake is on our team. It's a good morale booster. I know, Blummer, you were just talking about Jake and what he does for this team, more than just a bat, more than just his defense, that energy that you spoke of.
Thanks, Julia. No, that's great stuff. Jake is one of the good guys. And it's nice when you recall a guy and he goes deep in his first AB too. Kind of reinforces the point that he belongs here.
And he felt a little frustrated. At times he's realized that his hitting has been the reason he was sent down the first couple of times, but he felt last time around he was doing okay and actually had some pretty good numbers. But the Astros taking a look at Kyle Tucker, Jake going back down, and now he's back up this time around. And you can look at all the DRS and zone ratings you want, UZR defensively where Jake shines. It's hard to really put an analytic number of what he means to the clubhouse. He is a big part of when things go well for the Astros, what happens in that room. And even though he was hurt last year during the postseason, he was a big part of all the celebrations, cast and all.
Yeah, it was severely disappointing for him to have that injury that late in the season and not be able to be a guy to lean on when they needed him.
Count of 2-2 here as Alex Wood will make his 75th pitch of the night. And Jake goes down swinging for out number 1. Wood has back-to-back strikeouts and 3 in the game.
Pitcher Justin Verlander.
Now he'll face Justin Verlander. Verlander 5 for 46 in his career as a hitter. Did have one of those 2 hits earlier one of those 5 hits earlier this season. Tried to bunt his first time up and struck out trying to bunt. Ground ball towards third, backhanded by Turner. Verlander retired for out number 2.
Join the Astros next Friday as they take on the Mariners. 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a George Springer replica rainbow jersey presented by Houston Methodist. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/promotions.
Are you going to wear a rainbow jersey for Legends Day?
I could. I've got one in the attic. But they just gave me a brand new special orange jersey and stuff, and I really liked wearing it.
Yeah, they gave you a new one.
Yeah,
You got to
got to go with that. But I've got no problem breaking out the rainbow.
Here's a foul back to the screen.
That's another interesting note. When we were going, we got the girls in to go to a couple of games, and I think it was the 7th game of the ALCS, and one of the girls was wearing my throwback rainbow jersey and walking around the stadium.
Very cool.
Yeah, we broke them all out. Brought good vibes.
A lot of great memories flash back whenever the Astros play the Yankees, obviously, and now their first time back taking on the Dodgers. So many Astros fans were able to make it to Dodger Stadium last year for the World Series, and many of them have returned here this year for the first of this 3-game weekend series. George has reached twice. He has walked and singled. Hard to imagine anybody having better vibes here in LA than this guy or that guy.
Good seats, good food, good team.
Springer fouls one away. It's 2-2. George provided the 2 runs for the Astros his last time up. He hit a ball in the center field that was mishandled by Cody Bellinger. George got 1 RBI for scoring Maldonado, and then Jake Marisnick came around for the other run on the error by Bellinger. That's the difference in this game. It's 2-1. Wood needed a low pitch count inning as his pitches were way up in the 2nd and 3rd inning. All in the right field. Kemp going back. He is near the track and he glides to a catch for the final out of the inning. Wood with a 1-2-3-4. It's 2-1 Astros. Look back at the Randy Johnson trade 20 years ago. Charlie Morton will relive the final out of the World Series, and Mike Stanton executes the perfect pickoff move. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded after the game, only on AT&T Sportsnet. Bottom half of the 4th inning, Justin Verlander allowed a home run to the first batter he faced, Jock Peterson. Since then, he has retired 9 out of 10, including 6 strikeouts. And he'll start the 4th facing Justin Turner, Yasmani Grandal, and Cody Bellinger. And throws a strike to Turner. 0-1. Turner coming in with a .262 batting average and 6 home runs. He had one of those 7 home runs in his return to the lineup last night. 21 runs scored by the Dodgers in last night's game against Milwaukee, setting a new stadium record. Most runs for any team in the history of Dodger Stadium. Verlander ahead 0-2. Swing and a miss. He gets Turner on 3 pitches. That is strikeout number 7 for Verlander. 1 out in the 4th.
Tonight's Rocket Mortgage breakdown is a World Series recap. Really interesting numbers. The Astros coming away with that World Series championship, but a lot of these numbers very similar. Astros leading with 15-10 home runs. Strikeouts identical. That ERA very similar, actually higher on the Astros side. It's squeaking out a couple of extra inning wins against these Los Angeles Dodgers, but it's eerie how close those numbers actually were and how great that World Series actually was.
It really was, to have the exact same number of runs scored for both sides. 13 of the 25 combined home runs happened in the 7th inning or later. And there's never been a game, regular season or postseason, let alone a World Series game, where that many home runs were hit in an extra inning contest. The Astros getting 2 home runs in the top half of the 10th inning in that game 2. Correa and Altuve going back-to-back. That was followed by Yasiel Puig hitting a home run in the bottom half of that inning. And the Dodgers would come back to tie it against Ken Giles. And in the 11th, it was George Springer hitting a home run and Charlie Culberson coming back and hitting another one. There were 5 extra inning home runs in game 2 of the World Series. That's never happened in any baseball game ever.
Is that why Charlie Culberson went into celebration mode?
Yeah.
I felt so bad. He thought he hit a walk-off. It's just a home run.
0-2 pitches up and away to Grandal. It's 1-2. That was one of the 2 most remarkable games you'll ever see in a World Series.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that was going to be the game that trumped them all until game 5.
Yeah, they put on a show game 5 at Minute Maid Park.
Grandal goes down swinging. Verlander is feeling it tonight. That's now 8 strikeouts of his 11 outs.
Number 35.
Extra zip on the fastball. Throwing some breaking balls early on. That second and third pitch are down and in. That Grandal fouled off, which were breaking balls, and then just turbocharged heater right by him. 97 on that fastball.
Spin to win.
No whammies.
There's a called strike. Well, Justin knows he pitched very well in both those starts, game 2 and game 6, but he didn't come away with a W. In fact, in the World Series, you would have told one of the Astros' biggest fans ever that you were going to go into that World Series and not have Verlander or Keuchel win a game. Like, we're done.
Right? Seriously.
But that's what happened. Lance McCullers Jr. got a win. Charlie Morton got a W. Chris Davinsky got a win out of the bullpen, and Joe Musgrove picked up a W. All sliced the other way, out of play.
That's an uncomfortable swing from Bellinger on that fastball.
Bellinger not a big fan of this Astros staff. We already showed you the mark he set last year in the World Series for most strikeouts. Trying to put a ball in play against Verlander for the first time in his career. Justin with 8 strikeouts so far. And he does put one in play. He was 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts prior to that. And that's a base hit into left field.
So many times we see 2-strike fastballs up, out, off the plate, just kind of poke the other way, and that's all Bellinger does. Not a very aggressive swing, just kind of redirecting that fastball.
Now bring up Matt Kemp. Kemp struck out his first time up. He's been battling it a little bit lately. And quite a comeback season for Matt Kemp. Into this game batting a team high 296. Leads the team in runs batted in with 64, but on Wednesday he snapped an 0 for 26 with a 1-for-5 game against the Brewers. Kemp, one of the guys for the Dodgers team that spoke before the game. A special ceremony prior to tonight's game between the Dodgers and Astros as Andre Ethier was honored here at Dodger Stadium. Kemp, a longtime Dodger, was here from 2006 through 2014. Time in San Diego and Atlanta in between, and now he's returned to LA.
Kemp had a monster year in 2011. He's runner-up in MVP voting to Ryan Braun, who eventually was popped for PEDs that year.
39 bombs, 126 runs batted in.
One home run away from being a 40-40 guy. He had 40 stolen bases that year. All-Star, Silver Slugger, Gold Glover that year.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Verlander strikes out 3 more in the 4th. He's up to 9 in the ballgame. Mercedes-Benz, the Astros coming back on the Dodgers bullpen in Game 2 of the World Series. They would score a run in the 8th, and then this home run tied it up.
That was a big one. 6 runs scored in the 8th inning on. Ex-Astro Josh Fields gave up those back-to-back home runs to Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa. Another thing I loved about Marwin's home run is he came back and he was pounding his chest where that Houston Strong patch was on his chest. But these guys were playing with a purpose, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Josh Reddick leads off the inning. Reddick has grounded into a fielder's choice and walked. Josh looking for his first hit against Alex Wood. He's 0 for 7 in his career. Wood attended University of Georgia, and there's not many bigger University of Georgia fans than Josh Reddick. It's rare you see Reddick go more than a day without wearing some sort of apparel that says University of Georgia on it. Here's a pop-up into shallow center. Going back on it is the shortstop. Justin Turner makes the play over his shoulder.
Eighth inning of game 2, you talked about the Astros coming back. This was a big hit to get things going. Yasiel Puig was not happy with himself, unable to come up with that catch. But there was one person in that bleacher that night that would absolutely enjoyed what was transpiring right in front of him.
I saw one person clapping. And we're going to see another look at that after Bregman digs in against Alex Wood. Not many Astros fans in that section of the stadium.
Yeah, it was slim pickings down in that corner. There was a lot of blue, Dodger blue. Hey, I could have used that guy's help
There's some
in
orange.
game 2.
Yeah, there's some orange down there.
That's very similar to what it looked like.
Bregman down in the count, 0-1. He's popped up and lined out to left.
If you watch really closely, our guys in the truck help you point out a couple of Astro fans that may look really familiar in that gray shirt. That is me cheering like, oh yeah. And of course, my wife has got to capture the moment. She was Johnny on the spot, getting that camera going.
Here's a pop-up foul territory near the Astros dugout. Leaning and running out of room is Max Muncy. Julia.
Hey!
You down there?
I'm over here doing my best Blummer impression. That's what I'm doing. I also wanted to check out the view you had for that.
Not bad.
Which is a great view. And you talked a lot about the Dodger blue. I mean, there was just no orange. It is so different here today. Of course, regular season ticket prices might be a little more easy to get for some of these fans, but there are a ton of Astros fans in this corner that are not partaking in the wave, I hope. They know better. But this is a really fun area for the Astros fans, and they are just giving it to these outfielders, and they're enjoying seeing a good shot of George Springer over here, but it's a great spot to watch the game. Good choice by you.
And you know what's funny? That ball's hit down there, and chaos is happening. Dodger fans are mad. Puig's having a tantrum. I'm clapping, and my wife is, capturing the moment. In the back of my head, I'm saying, oh man, there's a ton of cameras out here. Somebody is going to catch this. And I mean, within about 10 minutes, Twitter went bonkers with that little picture that you just saw.
I love it.
Great.
Me too. I did love it too.
World Series memories right there. That's too good.
Here's Yuli Gurriel grounding one slowly towards third. Turner to second. No chance to get a double play. Turner gets the lead runner, Alex Bregman, who is hit by a pitch. And there's 2 away. How was it in general cheering for the Astros during a World Series game amongst all the Dodger fans?
I had a blast. And you know what is interesting is that I grew up in Dodger Stadium. This is where I learned to love the game. But to be sitting down there and standing up cheering against a lot of these Dodger blue fans, it was a little bit of a rush. It was a little frightening at times, but it was a great crowd. By the end of that game too, everybody was kind of casually walking out of the stadium looking at each other going, man, that was an unbelievable game that we'll never forget. And little did I know that I was going to be, front row for the beginning of it with Alex Bregman getting that big double going the other way.
Yeah, what a moment it was for you, not only as a broadcaster of the Astros, but a guy who cut his teeth going to games here.
Yep.
What a great moment for you to come back to Dodger Stadium in that way.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in the upper tank here at Dodger Stadium. Packed an extra thing of Kleenex for the nosebleed section we were in.
J.D. Davis with a swing and a miss. It's 1-1. This very well could be the final inning for Alex Wood as he approaches 100 pitches. Mentioned his season high in pitch count is 103 on the year. Had one other game where he reached 100. Talk about some of the memories from last year and how Astros fans made it a mission to get here for the World Series. I know of an assistant basketball coach who works in the ACC conference who woke up the day of Game 7 on the East Coast, and the head coach of that team knew how much the Astros meant to him. Said, "You're flying out to LA.
Wow.
Come back tomorrow for practice." That assistant coach sat up in those nosebleeds he used to sit in and cried like a baby.
Say loved every minute of it, right?
Cried like a baby after he watched his beloved Astros win their first World Series title. But good for that head coach to allow his assistant to miss a day in the middle of basketball season.
No, for a team to go to the World Series is unique enough, and you really got to take advantage of those moments if you do have the opportunity, and that's why that coach made a great move allowing that guy to go.
And so many stories like that of people that had to be there. I remember we were juggling whether we were going to come out here or not, and then we all ended up at various points of the World Series out here at one time or another. And memories for a lifetime. It's probably pretty cool for a California kid like JD playing here tonight too.
Well, it was having watched games here and watching, you know, Ron Say, Bill Russell, Davey Lopes, and some of these guys. And this goes for any guy that's watched Major League Baseball at a particular stadium and had a chance to go play in it. It was almost a second calling up for me when I got to play here at Dodger Stadium, just because I grew up about a half an hour east of here, and my family, my friends, that was really the first opportunity the family and friends got to see me in a big league uniform on the big league stage, and it turned out to be a pretty memorable one.
We'll see if JD extends this at bat so we can get into more details, but what a great moment it was for you. 2 outs, full count. Well, JD calls time here. What was the result?
Well, I left 50 tickets, and there were 50 of my family, the closest family and friends, in that second deck. And Chan-Ho Park was on the mound, 2-1 fastball down, and I hit it into the right field bleachers, and I could not believe what had just happened, because the place went silent except for about 50 people in that second deck that just absolutely lost their minds. So yeah, there were some points early on in my career I would have been just happy finishing it right there, but I was still blessed enough to play longer.
Ground ball, nice stop by Turner. His throw on the money. Justin Turner retires the opposing third baseman for the final out of the 5th inning. Presented by Rooms to Go, where you get the lowest prices every day and delivery is fast and easy. And by Nissan, innovation that excites. Kate Upton's in the house. Congrats to she and Justin Verlander. They are expecting their first baby after the season, as Verlander pitches here for the first time in the regular season and has a 2-1 lead working into the bottom half of the 5th inning. Max Muncy will lead things off, followed by Chris Taylor and Alex Wood. Verlander tonight has allowed a leadoff home run to Jock Peterson and then a couple of singles. He has struck out 9. Verlander not only moving up the all-time career mark and the strikeout list, but on this season's chart, he has passed his teammate Garrett Cole tonight and also Trevor Bauer, a couple of UCLA guys. And Verlander trails only Chris Sale in the American League. Justin up to 199 strikeouts on the year. Sale has 207. Strikeout number 200, getting Max Muncy swinging. That's 10 strikeouts in the game for Verlander. 1 out into the 5th inning.
Impressive stuff. Breaking ball. Might have been a slider at 88, just a power slider down and in. Muncy had a tough time with the traditional 12-6 breaking ball that first AB. Mixed it up a little bit on him right there.
We've noticed this tonight, and Martin Maldonado is one of the best defensive catchers in the game. There's a couple of pitches that even Maldonado is almost surprised how much break there's going to be on these pitches. He smothered that last one. Here's a line drive to Jake in center field for out number 2. He's been able to catch everything, but there's a couple where he's like, okay, this is what Justin Verlander's all about.
No, you're right, because it was in between that 4th and 5th inning that I kind of leaned over to you. It's like, did you see how Maldonado caught that strikeout of Matt Kemp? Almost as if that slider surprised him just as much as it did Matt Kemp. But it gives you an idea of how nasty some of the stuff that Justin Verlander has tonight.
Now he faces Alex Wood. We were wondering if Wood would be in his last inning of work last inning because he was due up and he's over 90 pitches, but he is going to hit here. Verlander with a much better pitch count in this game, sitting at 66 right now. Wood in his career is an .095 hitter coming in. This year he is 2 for 37 with a strikeout his first time up. Verlander in double digits for the 7th time this year in strikeouts. And bunting at the 2-strike pitch, that's strikeout number 11. Verlander, a quick 1-2-3 5th. It's 2-1 Astros. Who am I? 7th heaven. Yes, he McCann. Trending up. 7th heaven. Yes, he McCann. Trending up. If you have a guess or you know the answer, you can send it along to @ATT Sportsnet SW. Hey, the new look for one Alex Bregman.
How about you?
What do you think?
I don't know. You know what? It all depends on the hits. If that hair produces, it stays. But we've seen the issues with the mustache.
What was the impetus for you when you changed hair color?
I was trying to distract everybody from my lack of talent. Like, who is that knucklehead? No, it was more just for fun. It was my way of engaging with the fans. The fans had a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of pictures floating around, but photo day was always a unique opportunity to go out there and take a picture with the crazy-haired guy, and that was me. I eventually grew out of it, but I enjoyed it when I did it.
We've talked about this kid's confidence from the time he had a struggle in his first go-around in the major leagues. When you're going this well and you change your hair color,
gutsy.
That's confidence.
Yeah, Because a lot of times my hair color changes were due to offers.
It's a different look for Alex Bregman. He was excited to return here to Dodger Stadium.
Tricked a lot of managers into keeping me on the ball club too. Kept looking for the blonde-haired guy and I'd have blue or something.
Here's Marwin Gonzalez leading off the 6th inning. The Dodgers start this inning with bullpen action going. We mentioned Wood is not a guy that typically throws many more than 100 pitches, and he starts the inning with 96. Marwin has flied to right and flied to center. We mentioned the Dodgers playing a 4-game series with Milwaukee without a day off in between it, an extra inning game a couple of nights ago. So they may be looking for Wood to pick up an extra out or two that their bullpen doesn't need to cover.
Looks like Daniel Hudson out there in that Dodgers bullpen getting loose.
Last year in the World Series, the two teams combined with 65 2/3 innings from their starters and 63 from their relievers. So almost the exact same amount from the bullpen as the starters in that World Series as Marwin goes down swinging. That's strikeout number 4 for Wood.
A lot of that's because of those couple extra inning games. It was unbelievable. There were also a couple of ball games where Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers, may have pulled his pitchers a little bit early. They're a highly analytic team. They felt getting 2 times through the order was enough, and they went to the bullpen, and it backfired a couple of times.
No, you could count the Alex Wood game in that category.
I think that might be one of the bigger ones because he was pretty much cruising.
And it worked out for the Dodgers that day. They won that game 6-2, but it was a 1-1 game heading into the 9th inning. And Wood had a no-hitter through 5 2/3 innings. Allows the solo home run to George Springer, and he was out of the game. And that was it. And then the bullpen was able to shut it down from that point forward. And Martin Maldonado is hit with a pitch. An 0-1 pitch gets Maldonado, who's now been on base for the 2nd time tonight.
2019 season tickets are on sale now. Fans who purchase season tickets now enjoy immediate benefits, including guaranteed 2018 postseason priority access. For more info, visit astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
So see if Jake Marisnick gets something done here. He and Maldonado were part of the 2-run inning back in the 2nd. Jake with a single and 2 at-bats. Came around to score on an error by Cody Bellinger.
I've seen Jake push bunt or try to. Now would be an interesting time to do it. If he gets it past Alex Wood, he's home free.
1-1 the count.
Playing a little bit of a pull shift. Second baseman Taylor playing up the middle, but if he can just push one past Alex Wood, it's wide open.
I like that idea. That one's down and in. Almost clips Jake's foot. Wood has hit 2 batters in this game. Alex Bregman in the 5th, and now Martin Maldonado in this inning. He had only 3 hit batters coming into this game in 117 1/3 innings. Leading the Dodgers in innings pitched and starts this season. Ball towards short. Machado to second for a run, and Jake is retired on the double play ground out. Dodgers able to make a quick turn to get through the 6th. Nissan. Our clues tonight, seventh heaven. Yes, he McCann trending up. If you guess, Charlie Morton, World Series Game 7 winner. Third round pick by the Braves in 2002. McCann was the second round pick. And how about that record since joining the Astros last year, 26-9. Charlie Morton. Tonight's name that Astro.
After Game 7, he earned the right to be called CFM.
Julia, what do you have for us on Charlie?
It was a lot of fun to talk to Charlie about Game 7 and that final out because he likes to explain everything in full detail. So he was the guy to ask, and he took me through just every out of that inning thinking, is this for real? Is this really the third out? He wanted to make absolutely sure. And then he saw the play being made. He said it felt a little bit like it was in slow motion, and then he turned towards home plate looking to hug Brian McCann. However, McCann was, of course, covering first base, so he wasn't there. So Charlie had to make the adjustment, and about that time is when he was being grabbed and pulled and hugged on by all of his teammates. It was all happening very fast for Charlie, but a moment he won't forget. And then, of course, he said, you know, he remembers vividly his family coming onto the field and being able to share that moment with them. Such a big deal to Charlie, who's such a big part of the Astros history now.
Yeah, I love that moment, watching Brian McCann leap into his arms. McCann would say afterwards he did not have any more innings left in that season. He said if that game somehow went to extra innings, he did not know if he could go any further.
Brian McCann is one of the more entertaining conversations, and he's been around for a very long time. But that was probably one of the better ones when you catch him when you caught him after that World Series and just started talking to him, and he kind of broke down and just said, yeah, that was it. He goes, all the energy I had left was to jump into the arms of Charlie Morton.
McCann caught every inning of that World Series for the Astros and started all but one of the postseason games for Houston. Started 6 of the 7 against the Yankees and all 4 against the Red Sox. Only time he was taken out of the World Series at any point was for a pinch runner in the 10th inning of Game 5, and the Astros didn't have to catch any more innings after Alex Bregman's walk-off. 1-2 the count to Jock Peterson as we start the bottom half of the 6th inning, with Verlander facing the top of the order for the 3rd time. Peterson accounting for the Dodgers' run with his 5th leadoff home run of the season and the 8th of his career. A little tapper in front of the plate. Maldonado out quickly, makes a strong throw to first, and there's one away.
It's a nice play by Martin.
That is a BB that he threw to Yuli Gurriel. Yuli still shaking his head after catching that throw.
Well, he comes charging out, loses the mask, and then makes sure that he picks that baseball up and throws a dart to first base. One thing we know that the Machete has is a very good arm.
Strongest arm in the American League. 2nd in the major leagues. How about Verlander's pitch breakdown tonight?
He's been aggressive with that fastball, 52 of them. And I feel like every slider and curveball he's gone to has been for a swing and miss, except for that last one just kind of nubbed out in front of home plate. And there's a guy with an idea. It's one thing to go out there and have that game plan. It's another thing to go out there and execute. And that's exactly what Justin is doing, is executing perfectly.
That is fastball number 53. On the 53 fastballs, 11 swinging strikes on the fastball. 12 called strikes. And then another dozen foul balls.
And you talked about the Dodgers' take percentage. One of the higher ones in all of baseball, if not the highest. But
yeah, it is the highest.
It is the highest. So probably the reason he's throwing that fastball is to get ahead early.
And not great swings on the fastball, even in hitters' counts tonight.
I feel like we've seen a little more consistent velocity, too. A lot of pitches around that 97-mile-an-hour range.
That one bounces. It's 2-1. Verlander with 11 strikeouts tonight. Has struck out the side in the 2nd, picked up 3 more strikeouts in the 4th.
He's averaging 96 miles an hour on that fastball. Topped out at 98.
Just missed the edge. Maldonado held it there for an extra beat. It's 3-1. Justin wanted that call.
Yeah, I agree. That fastball looked like it came back a little bit at 98 miles an hour. There wasn't much glove movement from Maldonado, but just off the outside edge.
Another at 98. JV feeling it here in this AB against Machado. Nobody's won more games in interleague play than Justin Verlander in his career. Winning percentage of .842 is also the best.
Just peeling back some of their career numbers of Justin Verlander, it's amazing to see how many are as good as they are. Some outstanding totals in interleague play.
On the comeback here by Machado. He's retired Manny the last 2 times on ground balls back to the mound, and there's 2 away in the 6th. Check out the exciting events happening at Minute Maid Park this month. The August calendar includes Legends Weekend, a Springer throwback rainbow jersey giveaway, and a Carlos Beltran 2004 playoff bobblehead giveaway. Visit astros.com/promotions for tickets and info. Astros play 2 more games against the Giants after this series with LA. Taking on the Giants Monday and Tuesday. And then they'll be back home for a homestand with Seattle for 4 and Colorado for 2. Swing and a miss by Justin Turner. It's 0-1. Verlander continues to let that fastball eat, getting plenty of swinging strikes with the fastball. Verlander has a season high of 14 strikeouts this year against the Yankees. It is also one of 3 times in his career he struck out as many as 14. Second highest strikeout total of the season, a dozen against his former team, the Tigers. That strange game right before the All-Star break, where JV allowed 4 home runs facing his former team for the first time. Two and 1 the count. Turner has struck out twice.
I'm talking about the fastball usage tonight for Justin Verlander. Justin Turner has not seen anything other than a fastball.
Two and 2 the count. It's in the category of if it's not broken, don't fix it, because Verlander has had a lot of success in his career against Turner. It's the second game back off the DL for Turner. Stays alive on the foul ball. Verlander consistently in the 98 range this inning. That's nothing new either. Verlander with 83 pitches now. He's never been one guy that loses velocity as the game goes along. If anything, we see him increase his velocity in his last few innings. There's 9 and 7. Pitch of his starts in his career, the average mile an hour on his fastball is higher than the overall average for all of his pitches. Away, that was 99. That was the highest velocity fastball of the night, but it missed the plate. And that's the first walk issued by Verlander with 2 outs. Turner had been 0 for 11 in his career against Verlander before that walk. Here's Yasmani Grandal. Like Turner, he has struck out his first 2 times up.
Grandal struck out his first time out, first time up against the curveball. The second time it was the fastball.
There's a called strike. "86 pitches into this game for Verlander, 64 strikes. A rare walk with 2 outs. Grandal down in the count 0-2. Up to 201 strikeouts on the season. Oh, swing, it's 1-2. One of 3 major league pitchers at the 200 or more strikeout total for the year. Mentioned Chris Sale earlier, leads the AL at 207, and Max Scherzer leads all of baseball at 210.
Wow. Good job, Maldonado, keeping that ball in front, keeping the runner right where he's at first. Well, with those 89 pitches, I really don't feel that there's really been a high stress inning yet for Justin Verlander.
Other than the home run, no other Dodger has reached second base. Called third strike, strikeout number 12 for Verlander. Grandal doesn't like the call. Verlander up to 202 strikeouts on the year as he picks up this called third strike.
App from iTunes or Google Play, or visit AT&TSportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply.
Kind of an interesting situation here, Blummer. Alex Wood came out to begin warm-up tosses at the beginning of the inning, and I was surprised to see Wood out there because, frankly, he's usually not a guy that throws this many pitches. He's at 105, which is his season high, and yet Dave Roberts had him warming up to start the inning, and then all of a sudden A trainer comes out and Dave Roberts comes out and they go to the bullpen. So
Yeah, there was really no motion made to what it was, but it kind of felt as if they maybe needed a little more time to get the reliever loose in the bullpen. Just saying.
that's what I was thinking.
Because Daniel Hudson was getting loose earlier. Floro got up a little bit after Daniel Hudson. But if you take out the pitcher with the trainer, usually it explains that the pitcher coming in has as much time as he needs to get loose on the mound and get into this ball game.
I mean, it's one of those that you have to take the Dodgers' word for it, but A.J. Hinch was on the top step of the dugout when that happened. And 105 pitches in, Alex Wood throws the most pitches of his season, and he gives way here in the 7th inning to the right-hander Dylan Floro.
This will be his 34th game, 46 innings in those 33 appearances between Cincinnati and L.A. Whip is, it's okay, 1.24, 37 strikeouts. The opponent batting average at 247. Throws 93 miles an hour, has a changeup and a slider. Not a high strikeout guy, pitches to contact.
Alex Wood allows 4 hits and 2 runs. One of those 2 runs will be earned. He walked 3, but all the walks came in the first couple of innings. He did hit a couple batters after that. And he struck out 4. Here's Alex Wood warming up for the 6th inning. Stretching his left leg a little bit.
Warm night, high pitch count. They give out Oscars in this city. Just saying.
So Justin Verlander will bat against the new pitcher Dylan Floro as we start the 7th. Verlander hit a ground ball his last time up, also tried to bunt his first time up and struck out. Justin took as much BP as any of the starting 5 in the rotation leading into this National League contest. We're only privy to what we see on the field in terms of batting practice, so we're not sure how much guys worked underneath in the cage, but of the guys that hit on the field in the starting rotation, Verlander took the most hacks and McCullers was next. I'm guessing Charlie Morton did not hit underneath very often. 1-0 pitch is a ball. It's 2-0.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Charlie's not one of those guys that's going to go over and fight you for a bat out of the bat rack.
AJ telling Charlie in that Game 7 of the World Series, you may step into the batter's box, but do not swing. And Charlie said, but then I'll strike out. And AJ said, that's okay.
Yeah, I want you to get strikeouts of the other team. That's why you're not swinging.
The best part about that is, as AJ retold the story, Verlander pops one up. He said Charlie then walked by him after he struck out and said, see, I told you. Verlander pops up for the first out of the 7th inning. No Player Does More is presented by HEB, and no player did more in the 2017 World Series than George Springer.
Some phenomenal numbers, and remember, he really didn't start playing until Game 2. 5 home runs in the OPS, 1471. Just wreaking havoc on Dodger pitching.
More total bases, more extra base hits than anybody in the history of the game in the World Series. A well-deserved World Series MVP for a guy that A.J. Hinch was asked whether or not he should be moved down in the lineup prior to Game 2. A.J. said, we're fine. I like my guy there. And 1 to count to Springer. Recounting tales from the World Series, there was a cool moment with Springer and A.J. Hinch too in Game 7, because A.J. and George always talk before his very first at bat, and basically is, should I swing or should I take? George always wants to swing. Occasionally A.J. said it's not bad to see a pitch here or there. The last thing A.J. said to George on the way to the batter's box for the first at bat of Game 7 of the World Series was, if you score, we're winning the World Series.
No pressure.
George came around to score, and he AJ said he almost took his arm off with a high five and said, "We're going to win the World Series." And AJ thought to himself, "I hope I'm right." Hope this works out for us. And it did. Inning later, it was 5-0 thanks to a Springer home run. Here he grounds one to the right side, and he's retired for out number 2.
With those big numbers that George put up in order to get that MVP award, he set World Series records in extra base hits, leadoff home runs, consecutive games with a home run, and 29 total bases. Just a heavy hand in the history books for George Springer in that 2017 World Series.
Here's Reddick. Reddick has walked, officially 0 for 2. Astros haven't had much of a threat since really the second inning. They had a runner at third base with 2 outs in the third on a wild pitch. And since then, nobody has reached as far as second base. These are the top 2 teams in ERA in all of baseball. Reddick has the jackknife out of the way of that one. At this point, AJ looking through his card and how it'll match up. National League Baseball obviously letting Justin Verlander hit here in the 7th. He wants JV to go at least an inning, if not more. Here's a strike called. It's 2-2. AJ trying to look ahead as to which matchups he likes out of the bullpen for which batters.
No, I think you're exactly right, because we know that AJ, talking about the bullpen, he kind of counts backwards.
Plural able to come in and pick up a 1-2-3 7th, getting Josh Reddick swinging for the final out. 7th inning stretch time here at Dodger Stadium. It is 2-1 Astros. We're going to send it to Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton in our Rooms to Go lounge.
By T-Mobile, and it's all Justin Verlander. He's working with Martin Maldonado for the first time tonight and looking pretty good even after that home run. He gave it to Jock Pearson to start the day. He was in complete control, sitting down the next 6. 12 strikeouts today for Justin Verlander. He passed the 200 strikeout mark in his 24th start. That dominance looks like it's back, guys. He not really struggling. You hate to use the word struggling, but there were things that he was hoping to improve on, kind of get back on track like he was pitching earlier in this season. Looks like it tonight, TK.
Yeah, it does, and really living with a fastball primarily, Julia, and that's a good sign. Verlander only lasted 5 innings in his last start and threw 99 pitches in that outing against Texas, but he's one of the key reasons why the Astros have 12 more starts than any other team of 6+ innings and 2 runs or less. Line drive by Bellinger, caught by Marwin Gonzalez. Justin was jumping along with Marwin there on the first out of the 7.
And the Astros are very good at going deep into ball games, taking some pressure off that bullpen, but starters going 6 innings plus, allowing 2 earned runs or less. 12 games better. This is up to date. 12 games better than the Cleveland Indians. 62 games they've had 6+ innings and 2 or less runs. It was remarkable stuff. And to the point of, that Julie was talking about, where Justin had a couple of games where he scuffled. If he didn't set the bar so stinking high early on in the season, we wouldn't look at those starts. But he has been so good so early that a couple of blips on the radar kind of make you wonder. But today it looks as if he's got that command back.
Yeah, the pitch count has been in really good order tonight as he faces Matt Kemp, and Kemp pops one up. Yuli Gurriel on the right side with nobody around him, puts it away for out number 2. That's one where Yuli has to get used to no Jose Altuve. Normally he's called off that play. But nobody around him on that pop-up. There's 2 away.
I wonder if that's in the pregame scouting report. Altuve's not on the field. Go catch the pop-ups.
So 2 quick outs for Verlander, who got the hit in the top half of this inning. AJ hoping for a relatively low pitch count, so he may be able to send Justin back out there possibly for the 8th if he so chooses. Here's Max Muncy. Max Muncy takes a called strike. In the 2 World Series starts, Game 2 and Game 6, Verlander allowing 2 hits and then 3 hits in 6 innings of work. Trying to get through the 7th tonight in his first regular season start at Dodger Stadium. Very good pitch count with his 95th delivery as a breaking ball. That's one of those pitches we're talking about with Maldonado.
He's like, how are you doing this? He's anticipating break, but not enough. Maldonado set up down and away. That ball jumps and just drops out of the sky.
It's amazing that I'm amazed he's caught all these.
Yeah.
Some of his reactions, he is reacting so late, yet he's still been able to catch them all.
Well, it's interesting to me. It looks like they got crossed up, but at the same time, he kind of patted his chest like, that was my fault, and Justin Verlander didn't, holler at him or anything like that.
That's a pretty pitch on the outside corner. Muncy doesn't like it. It's 1-2. Muncy has struck out twice tonight against Verlander. Swing and a miss. That is 13 strikeouts for Verlander. He is through 7 with a 2-1 lead.
Every out-of-market regular season game, plus a free subscription to At Bat Premium for $59.99. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer.
Here's Alex Bregman leading off the 8th inning. Astros leading 2-1. Bregman batting in the 3rd spot tonight, as he did a couple of games ago against Seattle. Bregman was hit by a pitch his last time up, 0 for 2. He's facing a new pitcher for the Dodgers. Daniel Hudson takes over in the 8th.
Daniel Hudson's an interesting story. He's had multiple Tommy John surgeries, working back and still throwing pretty firm out of that bullpen for the LA Dodgers, averaging 95.5 miles an hour on his fastball. Also has a changeup and a slider. 41 2/3 innings pitched. He has 40 strikeouts since the break. Hitters hitting under 200.
Bregman, Yuli Gurriel, J.D. Davis. Astros with 2 runs on 4 hits. Dodgers 1 run on 3 hits. We figured this would be a pitcher's series, even though the Dodgers came in off a 21-run game last night. Tonight, Justin Verlander has limited them to a leadoff home run and a couple of singles. Hudson, the 3rd pitcher of the game for LA, following Alex Wood and Dylan Floro. On the ground towards short. Machado on the move makes the play for out number 1. Well, Bregman retired for the 1st out of the 8th. Gurriel 1 for 3 tonight. Defensively for the Dodgers, they moved the pitcher into Max Muncy's spot. Muncy was the last out of the 7th. So Brian Dozier, the newly acquired second baseman from the Twins, enters the game. That pushes Chris Taylor to center. Cody Bellinger from center to first as Muncy leaves the game. Dodgers do have some flexibility with their maneuvers. A.J. Hinch often uses Marwin Gonzalez for their flexibility, but Taylor able to play a bunch of different positions. Bellinger moving from center field to first base. On the ground towards short. Machado is there. Manny makes the play for out number 2. Phil Hudson, a couple of ground ball outs. The Astros do not have a hit in this game since a J.D. Davis single between 3rd and short back in the 3rd inning. Davis batting here in the 8th with 2 outs and nobody on. A couple of hit batters in the mix since then, but no base hits. JD throws a lot of sliders to right-hand hitters, more than he will the fastball. Slider comes in at 88 miles an hour. It's 0-1.
Excellent pitch. Short, quick break on that outside corner.
Hudson filling up the strike zone. It's 0-2. Interesting to see how A.J. Hinch is able to get Evan Gattis into games during this remainder of the road trip. 5 National League contests the rest of the way.
Evan's been good since the break. He'll get his pinch hit opportunities. But maybe not tonight, the way Justin's going. It's a good thing he's got that beard to keep him company.
They could keep him occupied. 1-2 the count. The other way, JD slices one into the crowd. Big crowd tonight. Dodger Stadium, rematch of the 2017 World Series. 53,598. I imagine we'll be over 150,000 for the 3-game series. These two teams did it in different ways last year. Both were kind of in cruise control at this point of the season last year. Double-digit leads for both in the early stages of August. It's a ball hit hard to right field. Kemp comes on and makes the plays. J.D. Davis lines out to right. He's had some good at-bats today. But a 1-2-3 inning for Hudson.
Light, hold true moment. Another good breaking ball from Justin Verlander, nubbed out in front of home plate. Martin Maldonado quickly out from behind home plate, takes off the mask, barehands it, sets the feet, throws a BB down to first base, trying to throw it through Yuli Gurriel. Luckily he caught it for the out, but good defense from the Gold Glover, Martin Maldonado.
Maldonado has an arm, as mentioned earlier, the best arm of All-American League catchers, average throw of 87.6 miles an hour. Make even Justin Verlander proud. Here's Chris Taylor leading off the bottom half of the eighth with a clean single into center field. Taylor in a 2-1 game on first base with nobody out in the eighth.
Got a little bit of a rise out of some of the 53,000 here. Been a while since they've seen that leadoff man on. Last time they saw that was back in the third inning when Chris Taylor led off the third inning with a base hit.
Taylor's had his share of success against Verlander. He had that big double in Game 6 that was the deciding blow. What would be a 3-1 Dodgers win as they staved off elimination in that game. Ryan Dozier, first at bat of the night. Sends one high in the air to left center field. Reddick and Jake are there. Jake finally calls off Josh for the first out. Jake saying, I thought you had it, and then I came closer to me, and so I took it. 53,600 can make a lot of noise, so for the outfielders, they have to make exactly sure who's going to make the call in the catch. Here's Jock Peterson. Leadoff home run gave the Dodgers a 1-0 lead. Since then, Verlander has retired him twice. Fly ball to center field, a little tapper in front of the plate. Maldonado made that strong throw that we just showed you. Verlander checking Taylor first. Who's got it?
Jake is screaming at Josh Reddick, getting these situations. So with 53,000 plus, it gets a little hard to hear at times, but he had both the arm and the voice going.
Pulled a little Heisman on.
Yeah, he did. Josh is going, hey man, I got range too.
Pitch away to Peterson. It's 1-0. Verlander sitting at 100 pitches on the night. And Hector Rondon beginning to warm up in the Astros bullpen.
Saw Tony Sipp and Hector Rondon getting loose. Now it's just Hector out there. I think Tony Sipp was getting loose in case they needed him for Jock Peterson. Manny Machado on deck. Justin Turner behind him. A couple of right-handers. Might be what Doug White is going over. Just a last-minute scouting report on a couple of right-handed hitters in here. Also a good time for Maldonado to have a meeting with Justin Verlander in a 2-0 count.
Verlander averages 102.7 pitches per game started. That is the 4th highest total in the major leagues. Trevor Bauer first, Max Scherzer second. Verlander's teammate Garrett Cole third.
Should be an interesting pitch right here. 3-0. Jock already has a pretty good swing off Verlander to start this game. And a pretty large amount of fastballs out of that right arm. Be curious to see the challenge right here.
A little quick as he pulls one down the line. Plenty of distance for a home run, but he hooked it foul.
It's a good location inside, though. You knew that Jock Peterson is seeing the ball look good out of the hand of Justin Verlander, but putting that fastball on the inside corner forced Jock Peterson to turn on it. Home run distance, just pulled incredibly foul. Long strike.
Left his bat at 114.
My goodness.
Fouled, it's 3-2.
Crazy or not, you got to appreciate Justin Verlander just coming right after the young man with the fastball. A little bit of the old school mentality.
I was just thinking the same thing. It's old school. My best against your best. Let's see what happens. Justin Verlander's idol growing up, Nolan Ryan, could be watching this game at home, and he appreciates that.
That is a man who could challenge a lot of big league hitters and beat them too.
Has gone to 3-2 now with a runner on first and one out, and time is calling. With this noise, Verlander's not going to hear Jim Wolf very easily, so he did not see time have been called until he started his delivery.
Hitters love calling timeout 3-2. Justin with his own version of the stall tactic.
These two teams played a brilliant World Series tonight. Another great game, 2-1, bottom of the 8th inning. Both teams with 4 hits. Verlander about to make his 105th pitch, and he and Maldonado will finally actually talk this one through. Maldonado's first rodeo, but when Justin Verlander wants to throw a pitch, Verlander's going to throw that pitch.
Kind of get the feeling that A.J. Hinch is flashing back to some of those days when he was catching with that little bit of a smirk. On the road, messing with the crowd a little bit, stall tactics, stepping in and out, guys calling timeout. There's a little bit of gamesmanship going on right here.
He got him! Verlander strikes out Peterson after being down in the count 3-0. That is 14 strikeouts, matching his career high.
Phenomenal pitch in a 3-2 count after challenging Jock Peterson several times with that fastball. Spins one on him and gets him. That was beautifully done.
A.J. Hinch coming out to get Verlander after a 14 strikeout performance, tying his career high. 4th time he has done that. 2nd time this year. What a night for Justin at Dodger Stadium. 14 strikeout in a big spot.
It was a huge spot. Jock Peterson was starting to time up that fastball. He already had him in the book once. And with that in mind, Verlander had a conversation with Maldonado and just broke off a brilliant breaking ball in a key situation. I'll give him a little bit of leeway because he probably thought that was third out and was walking off the field. But in the moment, that was a huge out.
7 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 14 strikeouts. He walked 1. And he gives way here to Hector Rondon with a runner on first base and 2 outs. Yuli Gurriel moves from first to third. Tyler White comes into the game as part of a double switch. Rondon will bat in J.D. Davis' spot. White will bat in Verlander's spot. Manny Machado bats against Rondon. Rondon misses for ball 1. Rondon has faced these Dodgers plenty of times in his career, spending all those years with the Cubs. Runner on the move. The throw is into the runner. Bregman will track it down on the stolen base by Chris Taylor, his 5th stolen base of the year.
Chris Taylor taking a chance, got a great jump. Maldonado tried to throw from his knees. Marwin hanging in there. May have gotten a helmet to that left forearm wrist.
One and one to count to Manny Machado. Machado has faced Hector Rondon twice in his career. He's 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. It's 1 and 2. Tonight from Hector Rondon, bring him on here in the 8th inning with a tying run on base and 2 outs. Smothered by Maldonado. It's 2 and 2. More than a casual observer over there on the front row of the dugout. What a night for Justin Verlander, matching his career high in strikeouts with 14. Picking up his 14th strikeout on pitch number 105 of the night.
Good pitch.
3-2.
Another one down and away. That one just off the edge. Good take by Manny. Maldonado's going to go out, maybe mix up the signs a little bit and talk with Hector Rondon. With Chris Taylor at second base, there is a little bit of a paranoia between these two teams on if signs are being relayed from second base to the hitter at home. A little bit of a history of that.
Two guys relatively new to the team too, not part of the World Series last year, but they were well informed before. The 3-2 pitch coming to Manny Machado with 2 outs and a runner on second. Fly ball, playable, right field. George Springer is there, and he puts it away. The Astros will take a 2-1 lead into the 9th. What a night by Justin Verlander.
As always, thank you for following. Thank you for voting. We asked you tonight which Dodger Stadium moment was the most important in the Astros World Series win. 40% votes for Marwin Gonzalez's home run in Game 2, 9th inning. 34% went to Charlie Morton. Charlie made a run out of there, and we're taking a look back. I know you two in the booth talked about that home run being really a turning point for the World Series. You must have been talking to A.J. Hinch, who said something very similar, just that no one was getting to that bullpen. They were so strong. The ability for this team's ability to get to him right there just really changed the mentality for this group. Big turning point. Big moment. Guys.
No doubt about it, Julia. It was a 3-1 victory for the Dodgers here in LA in Game 1. Morrow pitched a shutout ninth, Jansen a shutout, Morrow a shutout eighth, and Jansen a shutout ninth for the save. And then before Marwin batted in the ninth, the Astros actually had scored a run that was charged to Morrow on an RBI single by Correa against Jansen in the 8th inning of Game 2. And that snapped a string of 23 consecutive scoreless innings from the Dodgers bullpen. They were invincible, or they felt invincible at that point of the postseason after mowing down the Cubs in 17 shutout innings, only allowing 4 hits in 17 innings as a bullpen.
Yeah, there's a reason why Dave Roberts was going to that bullpen, and all of a sudden they met their match in the Houston Astros, and one swing of the bat really felt, as much as it lifted the Astros dugout, it really shook that other dugout. It really shook that bullpen out there in left field. And we saw some of the issues later on in that series, especially Game 5.
Game 5, they went to the bullpen after Kershaw could not hold a 4-0 lead, and then was given a 7-4 lead. It's actually Kenta Maeda who came out of the bullpen in that game, and he was greeted by a Jose Altuve 3-run home run. The Astros would tack on more. Brandon Morrow gave up the George Springer home run, and it was on from there. The Astros really would get to the bullpen numerous times in that World Series to claim their first title as Marwin grounds out slowly to second base. Marwin 0 for 4 tonight. Daniel Hudson in his second inning of work, pitching in the ninth for the Dodgers. I'll bring up Martin Maldonado. Martin's been on base twice. He has walked and been hit by a pitch. The Astros still do not have a hit since J.D. Davis one-out single back in the 3rd. Maldonado and Jake Marisnick scored on the base hit by George Springer back in the 2nd inning. One run driven in by George, the other one coming in on the error by then center fielder Cody Bellinger, who's now playing first. Center from second base in this game, puts it away for out number 2. Join the Astros Saturday, September 29th for the annual Badges and Bases H-Town Rundown presented by Chenier. This family-friendly 5K and 10K benefits the Astros Foundation and the Houston Police Department. To register for either run, visit astros.com/run. 2 outs, base is empty. Jake Marisnick, the batter. Didn't mean to, but a check swing foul ball caught on one hop by A.J. Hinch. Jake singled and scored what has been the go-ahead run and only run since that point of the game. Back in the 2nd inning. He also struck out and grounded into a double play. What a night it was for Justin Verlander tonight. Not given much run support, but he made it hold up after a leadoff home run by Jock Peterson as the only run JV would allow. Hudson ahead 1-2. Most of the career for Daniel Hudson spent with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Began his career with the White Sox. Pitched in Pittsburgh last year. And he hits Marisnick on a pitch up and in. That's the third batter hit by Dodgers pitching tonight. Jake with a little grimace as he heads down to first.
96. Hurts a little bit less when you've got a 2-strike count on you.
Tyler White will get his first at bat. White came on as part of a double switch last inning, batting in Justin Verlander's spot. AJ knew he did not want to see Hector Rondon bat. Give Hector a chance for a 4-out save. Strike call.
See where it gets Jake. Just for full effect on her Mattress Firm Supermo. And then left shoulder. Ouch.
Jake on the move. Pitches through the catcher Grandal. Jake a head first slide. He was not aware that pitch got through. A stolen base for Marisnick. That's his third of the season.
Good time to run. Force the issue a little bit. If you make it, you're in scoring position. If he'd been running with his head up, it might have been an interesting play for Grandal. Full steam ahead for Jake Marisnick. Maybe even moved home plate up a little bit. It used to be real deep here. Remember the dugouts and the backstop being well tucked in comparison to what they are now.
2-1 count. This will be a big spot at Tyler White. Can connect on a base hit here and give the Astros an extra run heading to the bottom half of the ninth inning. Dodgers will have their 3, 4, 5 hitters due up. Short. Machado is there. And that'll do it for the Astros in the ninth. We head to the bottom half of the ninth. 2-1 Houston. Tying run on base. Peterson representing the go-ahead run, and he fell behind him 3-0.
Fell behind 3-0, and you know he's going to challenge Jock, and he turned on it, hit that long strike. But I think this is the one right here. Fouling it straight back. Justin made the adjustment, made a brilliant call, and executed a brilliant curveball to get the swing and miss. A huge out in this ball game. That was Justin Verlander's 14th strikeout, much to the delight of Astro fans, tying a career high in strikeouts. Last time he struck out 14 was on the 1st of May against the New York Yankees.
Jose Altuve with the hardest high five of all as Verlander made it back to the dugout, and now Hector Rondon facing the number 3 hitter Justin Turner, and the first pitch is a called strike. Turner stepped out of the box on the delivery.
Umpire was moving around back there.
But Jim Wolf called it a strike.
Well, Justin Turner called timeout late, but the second base umpire, the crew chief, Sam Holbrook, was moving. He was trying to figure out the positioning with the Astros shifting, and Marwin moving back and forth is really creating some issues right now.
Nice to get a strike to start the inning.
Yeah.
That one misses the edge. It's 1-1.
Keep an eye up the middle. Justin Turner recognizing that, but calling it way too late because Rondon already with that leg kick. Now the first base umpire, not the crew chief, DJ Rayburn, is telling Marwin not to move. I'm not sure if that's the umpire's place to make that call. Is that a new page in the rule book?
Into right field, Springer, playable, just towards the line, and that is 1 out in the bottom half of the 9th inning. A couple of fly balls to right since Hector Rondon has entered the game, getting Manny Machado and Justin Turner.
Marwin messing with people.
Randall takes one outside for ball 1. Verlander in 3 at-bats against Grandal, struck him out all 3 times, 3 of the 14 strikeouts. Rondon ahead 1-2. Rondon has been great all year long for the Astros, especially away from Minute Maid Park as he picks up a strikeout of Grandal for out number 2. First strikeout for Rondon. Houston Astros baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Arctic. Overbuilt, not overpriced. Two outs, base is empty. Rondon to face Cody Bellinger. That is a fastball for a strike, even though Maldonado didn't catch it. It was right over the plate, 0-1. Bellinger 1 for 3, a single in the 4th. Dodgers had that leadoff home run by Jock Peterson, and since then 3 singles. And the Astros pitchers, Verlander 14 and Rondon 1, have struck out 15 Dodgers. 1-1 the count. Peterson has faced Rondon twice. He has walked and also had a base hit.
Said Bellinger checked his swing, but it caught part of the play, but I also thought he might have gone. More work to be done.
There's a strike. Bellinger doesn't like it. It's 1-2, and now Rondon and the Astros 1 pitch away.
It's a pretty healthy walk after a called strike. Maybe he had reason to.
Astros fans here of the 53,600 standing.
Great pitch by Rondon, recognizing he got a call a little bit off the outside corner. Go right back out there.
Of Rondon's 10 previous saves with the Astros, this one about as intense as it gets, going for a 4-out save, protecting a 1-run lead. Bellinger stays alive.
Rondon may have overthrown that one, but Bellinger helped him out a little bit, and I think that's what Maldonado, when he was throwing that baseball back to Rondon, maybe imploring him to be a little bit better with that pitch. That fastball flat beat. Bellinger with the emergency hack salvaged another pitch.
Last year when the Dodgers defeated the Cubs to get to the World Series, Rondon pitched in 3 of those games. Called third strike, Astros win. Astros win it 2-1. Rondon strikes out Bellinger, looking to end it. Verlander the win, Rondon the save. A pitcher's duel, and the Astros win the opener. That was a fun rematch of last year's World Series.
Great job by Hector Rondon. A lot of pitches on that outside corner. That one tailing back over. Bellinger thought it was down, but it was strike 3 to finish off this game. And the Astros, behind Justin Verlander and Hector Rondon, shut down the Dodgers after they scored 21 runs last night.
What a night for the Astros. They win on a Friday night to kick off this 3-game series rematch of the World Series of last year. We'll have more, including the post-game show, coming up after this.
98. A sellout, the 10th sellout of the 2018 season. Dodgers do thank you for